Welcome! Tonight on the Monaro Zone, we head to Bombala, where what started as a pool upgrade has turned into something much bigger. This is no longer just about construction, it's ultimately about safety, design, delays, and ultimately trust. With works now stopped and uncertainty around funding and timelines, the community is asking some serious questions. Is the current design fit for purpose? Should the pool be fixed or completely rethought? And how long is Bombala expected to wait? We speak with Paul Perkins, a lifelong local and pool operator with years of hands-on experience who has raised concerns around safety, accessibility, and whether the current design reflects modern standards. We also hear from Donna from Bibbenluke, who speaks to the urgency many locals feel, a community that simply wants its pool back. Here's what they had to say. Paul Perkins, thank you very much for speaking with the Monaro Zone. As a Bombala local and business owner, how have you been involved in this Bombala pool issue, and what concerns have you personally identified regarding the pool's current state and stopped works?
Yeah, local pool operator. So I've run the pool for probably 7 years for the council, maybe more. And I've personally just identified some design issues with the pool. Doesn't seem to be designed to the modern standards and trends. We've got a 400 mil drop from the pool deck ledge down to the water level, and most designs now and upgrades or new builds are going towards zero, so wet edge, and I've identified that we've actually gone the other way. So it was roughly probably 210, maybe 230 mil per meter in our previous design, and now it's gone to 400. So for me, that's a concern with my lifeguards. And around that, there are blind spots for my lifeguards, so where the visibility of the pool itself, any rescues are now made to be more difficult because it's got that distance to overcome with them. Accessibility issues now, so it's much less friendly for anyone that needs disabled access or older and aging population. It's going to create like more difficult situation for them to get into the pool, get out of the pool, and that goes with the kids as well. So the ledges are higher from the water level, so if they need to rest, they've got quite a high reach. And there's definitely been other things that I've identified down there that don't seem to be correct when it comes to aesthetics and construction side of things, but I am not, that's not my lane, and I'm going to sort of stay out of that. But I know when it comes to what we want to see as a pool and even design standards, but highest level of safety, I have concerns. Yes.
So, from my understanding, that excess in pool ledge would make it difficult to rescue somebody if they required assistance.
Yes, it makes it more difficult. Like, I want to stress that it is compliant. That's what we have been told. It is compliant, but in my opinion, it's not best practice. And Kuma has received a wet edge, and we have not. So there's questions that need to be answered around that as well. Because if they feel like this is safe and compliant, and that, why has one gone to a wet edge and why has the other not? So which one, in their opinion, is safer? So that I'd love to know the answer to that question. So yeah, it's
In regards to the wet edge, if that's the desired outcome but it wasn't planned for, could that possibly delay things even further?
yes, it will delay things, and that's what we had a community meeting last night, and I was very transparent about that. That if we push hard and try and convince the council to, when works resume and we find out what the future of the pool is, that we go to, we get it across and we go to a wet edge, that it will delay. We won't be open this season, and maybe not the next season. So there is things that come with that, and I also made sure that the community were aware that funding has not been secured for it either. So there's definitely high risk to pursue this option, but it was overwhelming from the council, from the community, that they wanted it done well, and they're looking at the future for Bombala, the next 40 to 50 years, not the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah.
Well, that dovetails into what I wanted to ask next, which
Yeah.
was, from your perspective, what's the best outcome for Bombala, and what would you recommend to rebuilding trust with the community moving forward?
I think the best outcome would be, firstly, to identify if funding's available. So if we can identify that, well, I think having the pool looked over first by an outside consultant, and then identify if there's funding involved available to be able to achieve these goals with the wet edge and a few other things. And then have a proper community consultation around the whole design again. So it's agreed on the community consultation. Even a working group consultation was not there. So, and it was very poor. And we got engaged a month out, and we were asked for our feedback, and we gave our feedback, and it was around the wet edge, and it was also about the placement of the plant room, and that feedback was met with the response that if we change anything now, that's going to delay the start of work. So in my opinion, there's no point to that meeting whatsoever, because if our feedback was going to be met with that response, then what's the point? Why bother? So proper community consultation. So we've got an opportunity now that work has shut down. So there's nothing doing. So we've got a window where we can pursue these ideas. But yeah, back to your question, that desired, the next steps I think are outside consultant coming in, certifier, then identifying if those funds are available to do it this way, and then moving forward, putting a timeline on it and consulting the community about what exactly that they want at that pool.
One final question, because it did come up a couple times in the meeting. Why the insistence on an outside consultant or certifier? Like, wouldn't it be cheaper and faster to use somebody in-house?
Yeah, I just think that we need outside eyes on it personally, to be a little bit more critical, to find out exactly where we are at. I think that at the moment it's been looked at pure compliance, not best practice, and that really needs to be, I think, top priority is, it could be safe, but there's levels of safety. So we want to make sure we're getting the top level, but also ergonomic and design and a nice outcome for our community. So it doesn't just come down to, does not come down to the, edge levels or anything like that. It comes down to the whole picture of that Bombala pool. We want something that we can be proud of. We are a small community, and we just don't want to be given something like that. She'll be right. That'll do. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just something that for me it's a holistic approach, and we want to make sure that the community can walk into that place and go, "Wow, we've got something very, very nice and something to be proud of." Yeah.
The best of the best,
So, Miss, if I'm understanding
Yeah.
your objection correctly, you're mostly frustrated with the design and with the potential delay that this might cause the community.
Okay, that's put it. Yeah, that's it. The design, and the potential delay of reopening the pool.
Because if I understand what you've told me correctly, it's because this community desperately needs a pool urgently.
Yeah.
Not in 3 years' time, but
Not in 3 years.
next season.
Yeah, and elderly were a lot of us, and the young ones need to keep the swimming practice up. Everybody, likes to look forward to it. Maybe I'll go on Saturday after shopping to have a swim.
And you can't even go to Coomer anymore.
And you can't even go to Coomer anymore. And the coast is fine.
But it's 3 hours away.
Yeah, there's a petrol shortage, so we need it. We need, and we aren't. Our expectations are simple, are moderate, not over expecting. We expect a pool, not an elaborate infinity pool. And people are going to cause a problem by sitting in the gutter anyway. That they think that it's going to enhance the rescue. But wherever the rescue is taking place, there's going to be people sitting in that spot rather than in the baby pool, in the toddler's pool. And that's where they should be. People that haven't had the swimming lessons. And then there's plenty of, in this design, there's plenty of other exit areas.
What you've just heard captures the tension facing Bombala right now. On one hand, there are real concerns around design, safety, and whether this project meets modern expectations. On the other hand, there's a community that simply wants a functional pool, open as soon as possible, especially for families, kids, and an aging population. At the center of it all is a difficult question. Do you push for the best possible long term outcome, even if it means years of delay? Or do you deliver something sooner, knowing it may fall short of what could have been? What's clear is this: the community wants to be heard, properly consulted, and confident that whatever is built will stand the test of time. With works now stopped and decisions still ahead, Bombala now has a window, not just to fix the pool, but to rebuild trust. That's all for this episode of the Monaro Zone. If you have a story to share or a mystery that needs unraveling, reach out to us. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and give us a thumbs up. It keeps us going on this journey into the unknown. Until next time, fellow friends and neighbors, stay vigilant, ask the tough questions, and remember, not everything is as it seems.
In the snowy Monaro where the mountains stand tall, the council convened, but a shadow would fall. The papers came late, leaving questions to grow, and the people cried out, we deserve to know. Bring the truth to light, let the darkness fall. Hold them to account, we're standing tall. With courage and hope, we'll win this fight. In the snowy Monaro, bring the truth to